How do you get a man like Hunter? A man who respects you, a man who does chores, crazy, a man who is an equal partner in your relationship. And the answer is you don't accept anything.
That is the exact same piece of advice I would have given to other women in my 20s, and I would have said it with my whole chest. And for context, I've been with my husband now for almost 20 years, and we met in high school. And when we were in our 20s, he was the most amazing partner. He was an equal partner. He was my biggest cheerleader and support system. He was amazing, and I had incredibly high standards for him. And when we got married, things were amazing until we had kids. And this is something you're going to hear from so many women, that they had an amazing marriage and then they had kids. And it's not because they didn't have high standards, because somebody will always ask women when their marriage is in trouble, well, how did you not know? You should have picked a better guy. You should have had higher standards. But here's the thing. Women do have incredibly high standards. But what happens when you have children is that society and systemic barriers come into play. Women's careers suffer when they have kids. Men's flourish. Women take on the bulk of the mental load and the childcare and the domestic labor when they have kids. Men don't. Men have more time for themselves and for hobbies, and women don't. And it's not because men are just bad guys or all marriage is doomed. It's because as a society, we prepare women for marriage and motherhood. We tell them what it means to sacrifice as a parent, and we don't give men the same message. And so when they become parents, their lives remain mostly unchanged. And for context, after 2 years of being parents, I wanted a divorce. I was done. And I am so lucky that I married somebody who is a willing and able partner who loves me and wants me to be happy and put in the work to improve our marriage and to take on his fair share of parenting. But that is not the case for every woman. And it is so frustrating because this piece of advice that I myself would have given is an oversimplification of what it means to have high standards, what it means to be a good dad. And that's the other thing. There are different standards for men and women. We expect women to do it all, to take care of everyone, to carry the mental load, to take care of the kids, to do the chores, and to do it with a smile on her face. And for dads, the expectations are very low. In order to be a good dad, you just have to simply be present. You just have to be there, and then you're a good dad. You're at the soccer game, great, but mom packed the snacks, she washed the uniform, she brought the ball, and she coaches. But dad is the good one because dad's there, and he's a great dad. Mom is just a mediocre mom, and so that is the difference. That is the difference, and why this advice for me misses the mark. Because what I think it does is it tells women that if they have a partner that doesn't show up in an equal way, if they have a partner who does not support them in their dreams, if they have that, it's because their standards weren't high enough or they didn't pick good enough. And that's just not the case for so many women, because so many women put so much time and effort into finding the best partner. But then they have kids and everything falls apart. And it's not because they married a bad guy who has bad intentions, but it's because society tells men who to be. And it doesn't tell them that they have to fold all the laundry with a smile on their face. And it doesn't tell them that they have to go above and beyond at all times. And it doesn't shame them for going to work or for having daycare, but it does to moms. It does to moms. And this dynamic where women take on all of this work and all of this shame and all of this guilt creates resentment. And so if you really want to have an amazing partnership, you need to be aware of the systemic barriers. You need to be aware of the societal conditioning, because oftentimes women will say, I feel like I fell into a trap. I had everything planned. I had everything right. I had the perfect partner. And then I became a mother and I fell into these gender norms and I fell into this trap and I don't know how I got here. And we get there because society conditions us to get there. Systemic barriers are there for women to fail. This is not an accident. It is by design, and it can feel like a trap. And so I want to say out loud that yes, you should have high standards. Yes, you should make sure that you pick a partner that you feel aligned with, that you feel like wants to be an equal partner, but you still will have to do so much work to make sure that you work together to combat the societal conditioning and systemic barriers that exist.